You could be the most captivating and engaging woman in the room, possess a magnetic personality, and embody everything he claims to want. Yet if you're doing what most women do during the early stages of attraction, he may lose interest before you even realize it ever existed. And here's something that might surprise you. The women men chase relentlessly aren't necessarily more beautiful, more accomplished, or more available than you. They simply recognize a few psychological triggers that activate a man's pursuit instinct, flipping it from optional to nearly uncontrollable. I'm about to share something that contradicts nearly everything modern dating advice has taught you, but it aligns perfectly with how male psychology actually operates. The reason men stop chasing isn't because you're not enough, it's because you reveal too much too soon, often in ways you don't even notice. The women who have men consistently pursuing them, trying desperately to secure them, aren't manipulating anyone. They're working from a completely different framework that makes pursuit inevitable. Imagine if I told you that every text you send to maintain interest is actually reducing it. Behaviors you believe express your interest are exactly the ones that make you forgettable. We're going to explore rules that will fundamentally transform how men perceive you, pursue you, and fight to keep you close. But be warned, these rules require doing the opposite of what feels natural when you're attracted to someone. Before diving into these principles, you need to grasp something essential about male psychology that many women completely misinterpret. Men do not chase what's easy to catch. They never have, and they never will. This isn't about manipulation, games, or being hard to get. It's about understanding that pursuit is deeply ingrained in male nature. When you remove the challenge, you remove the very element that sparks obsessive interest. Most women have been conditioned to believe that showing interest is how to attract a man. Being responsive, available, and eager is seen as proof you're a good partner. Here's what really happens in his mind. The moment he believes he has you completely, when there's no longer any mystery or challenge, his brain stops producing the chemicals that create that addictive, can't stop thinking about you feeling. This doesn't make men shallow or flawed. It makes them human. Consider anything you've ever wanted desperately versus something that was simply handed to you. The thing you had to work for, the thing just out of reach, that's what you valued the most. That's what you boasted about. That's what you protected once you attained it. The rules we're about to explore aren't tricks to manipulate him. They're about understanding male psychology so profoundly that you naturally create the conditions for pursuit. They focus on stepping into your own power instead of giving it away the moment someone shows interest. They guide you to become the woman men don't just like, but the woman they cannot afford to lose. If you've been confused about why men initially show interest and then pull away, why they pursue you briefly only to retreat, or why you keep attracting men who won't commit, these rules will change everything. The first principle is never to mirror his effort exactly. Stay slightly less invested. This is where most women sabotage themselves without even realizing it. A man shows interest, sends a long message, plans a date, and immediately you match his energy. He texts at 9 a.m., and you reply at 9:05 a.m. He suggests dinner Friday, and you rearrange your schedule to accommodate him. He shares something personal, and you respond with something even more personal to show equal investment. And just like that, the chase disappears. Most women don't understand how men experience attraction. Men are hunters by nature, and hunters need a pursuit. When you immediately mirror his effort, you remove the tension that keeps his interest alive. You become predictable, a certainty. And certainty doesn't keep men thinking about you at 2 a.m. Men are constantly gauging whether they are more invested than you, not as a game, but because their pursuit instinct thrives on uncertainty. When a man can't fully determine if he has you, when there's a subtle gap between his effort and your response, his brain remains in chase mode. A woman who grasps this concept doesn't ignore him or play obvious games. She simply maintains a slightly lower level of investment than he does at every stage. He sends 3 messages. She replies to 2. He wants to meet Friday. She's busy but free Saturday. He thinks about future possibilities. She focuses on enjoying the present. This doesn't equate to being cold or distant. It means being warm, engaged, and present when together, but never more eager than he is. It means cultivating a life he wants to be part of, not pausing your life the instant he shows interest. The right man will not be deterred by this. He will be drawn to it, because here's the detail most women overlook. Men want to feel like they're earning you, not like you're already secured. They want to earn your attention, not receive it automatically. When you match his effort precisely, you're signaling, I'm just as invested as you are, which subconsciously communicates, you don't need to do more to keep me interested. By remaining slightly less invested, you send a different message. I like you, but I'm not fully decided. You have to show me why I should choose you. That small uncertainty, the gap between his pursuit and your response, sustains the chase. It keeps him thinking about you when you're not around and drives him to give more to win you over. This principle isn't about withholding or being intentionally difficult. It's about recognizing your interest is valuable. And valuable things are never freely given. They are earned gradually through consistent effort and authentic engagement. The second principle is creating space so he can miss you. Women who have men obsessively chasing them grasp this truth. Absence generates desire. Not extreme absence, ghosting, or manipulative, disappearing acts, but consistent, strategic space that allows him to sense your absence and feel compelled to reach for it. Most women do the opposite. They're constantly texting, always available, and fill every silence with interaction. They become so present that he never experiences the void necessary for desire. You cannot want what you always have. When you are constantly there, responding immediately and always accessible, you become background noise. You turn into a predictable, reliable option he can check in with when convenient. But creating space triggers a different response in his mind. Men process emotions differently when there's room to think and reflect. When you're not constantly accessible, they begin to notice what they might be missing. This doesn't require ignoring him for days or playing artificial games. It means maintaining a full life that doesn't pause for him. It means occasionally ending conversations first, not as a tactic, but because other priorities exist. It means sometimes being unavailable for immediate plans. The result? He begins to notice your absence. He starts checking his phone more frequently, wondering if you've reached out. He begins to feel the pull of wanting something that isn't guaranteed, something that requires effort to gain. Absence doesn't create frustration, it creates desire. It gives him the opportunity to value what you bring to his life and motivates him to pursue you consistently, rather than taking your presence for granted. He begins thinking about the next time he'll see you. He starts wanting to secure more moments with you because he realizes your time isn't endless. The women men pursue relentlessly are those who live full, vibrant lives. They have close friends they cherish, hobbies they are passionate about, and goals they're actively chasing. They're not idly waiting for a man to make their life meaningful. That independence, that rich life outside of him, is magnetic. When you give yourself space, you create an opportunity for him to pursue you. You allow him the chance to reach out first, suggest plans, and put effort into spending time with you. But if you're always available, always initiating, and constantly present, you remove his need to chase, because you're already right there. This shift changes everything because it flips the dynamic from you pursuing him to him pursuing you. It naturally creates tension that fuels attraction. Your time together becomes more precious because he understands it's not guaranteed. He values you more because he has to work to earn it. Men treasure what they have to pursue. They protect what they had to fight for. They commit to women whose lives are rich enough that being chosen by them truly matters. Never reveal everything at once. Keep him curious. This rule distinguishes women who men date casually from those they become obsessed with. It's about maintaining a sense of intrigue, not by lying, but through restraint, by not revealing every detail about yourself, your feelings, or your intentions too soon. Many women, when interested, become an open book. They disclose their entire dating history by the second date, explain every thought and emotion, and outline their hopes for the future. They make it obvious they are interested, available, and already envisioning a possible future. In doing so, they remove the mystery that drives a man's desire to know more. Men are naturally drawn to what they don't yet understand. They are fascinated by layers they haven't fully discovered. They are intrigued by women who reveal themselves gradually, deliberately, keeping certain aspects of themselves just out of reach until trust and interest are earned. When you expose everything too early, your life story, your feelings, your intentions, you eliminate the sense of discovery that creates emotional investment. A woman men chase is somewhat unpredictable, not in a reckless or confusing way, but in a way that keeps him engaged and attentive. He thinks he understands her, and then she surprises him. She has depth he hasn't fully explored yet. She has interests, thoughts, and experiences he's still learning about. This doesn't mean being fake or pretending to be someone else. It means not unloading your entire past, your relationship history, or your future plans before he's earned that level of intimacy. It's about keeping some things private until he's shown he deserves to know them. Let him wonder about your thoughts at times. Let him be curious about your activities when you're apart. Let him put in the effort to understand you instead of handing him a complete manual on day one. Allow him to earn your vulnerability instead of freely offering it to anyone who expresses interest. When you maintain this sense of mystery, he invests more in figuring you out. He listens more attentively, asks more questions, and thinks about you when you're not around, trying to understand you better. The details you share feel significant, because it seems like you're deliberately letting him in, not desperately trying to keep his attention. The women men pursue aren't inherently more interesting than others. They are strategic about how they reveal their qualities. They allow men to discover them gradually, piece by piece, creating an addictive process of exploration. By keeping him slightly off balance, not rushing to explain yourself or prove your value, you cultivate an intrigue that transforms casual interest into determined pursuit. You become the puzzle he wants to solve, the book he can't put down, the woman he hasn't fully figured out yet. That uncertainty is undeniably magnetic. Focus on responding to actions, not words. This protects you from wasting energy on men who will never chase you the way you deserve. It's about the discipline to invest only in what men actually do, not what they promise, plan, or say they might do. Many women get caught up in potential. A man says he'll call, and they wait by the phone. He talks about future plans, and they start imagining them in detail. He expresses interest in eventually being in a relationship, and they treat him as if he already is their partner. They respond to words, intentions, and promises instead of observing actual behavior. This is precisely how women end up chasing men rather than being pursued. Men can say a lot, especially early on. They'll talk about incredible dates they'll take you on, how different you are, or their long-term intentions. But the men who truly chase you, the ones genuinely invested, are those whose actions consistently align with their words. The women men chase are those who respond only to these actions. When a man says he'll call but doesn't, a woman worth pursuing doesn't make excuses or follow up asking why. She notices the misalignment between words and deeds and adjusts her investment accordingly. She doesn't debate it or seek explanations, she simply responds to reality, not to potential. This approach naturally filters out men who aren't serious. By responding solely to actions, men who are all talk quickly disappear because they recognize that words alone cannot maintain your interest. Men who genuinely want to chase you match their actions with their intentions because they understand that consistency is required to keep your engagement. Real life examples. He says he wants to see you over the weekend but doesn't make concrete plans. You make other arrangements. He texts that he's thinking of you but hasn't made a move in 2 weeks. You respond briefly and let your unavailability communicate your boundaries. Responding to actions isn't harsh, it's realistic. You're treating men as capable adults who must follow through. You're refusing to give emotional or relationship level investment to men offering only potential level effort. The women men chase relentlessly are those who clearly demonstrate, through their behavior rather than words, that being part of their life demands more than good intentions. It requires follow-through, consistency, and effort that mirrors genuine interest. When you respond exclusively to actions, men understand they cannot maintain your attention with smooth talk or empty promises. They know that to secure your time and affection, they must consistently show up, proving their interest isn't just verbal. This naturally creates a chase. Men serious about you elevate their actions to match their intentions, while men who aren't serious self-select out. You remain in control, never chasing anyone. You're not attempting to turn words into actions. You're simply remaining present and letting men's genuine behavior determine whether they earn the right to move forward with you or not. Understanding these principles intellectually is one thing, but witnessing the transformation in action is what makes them real. Take Sarah, for instance. She spent 8 months puzzled over why men would show intense interest for a few weeks, and then suddenly withdraw. She was attractive, successful, and had a vibrant personality. Yet she mirrored effort precisely, was always available, over-explained every aspect of her life by the second date, and reacted to men's words rather than their actions. Once she embraced these principles, everything changed. Sarah began staying slightly less invested than the men pursuing her. She carved out space by maintaining her social life and hobbies rather than making men her priority. She stopped revealing everything about herself immediately and allowed men to work to understand her. Most crucially, she began responding only to what men actually did, not what they said they would do. Within 3 months, she transformed from the woman men lost interest in to the woman men actively tried to win over. Even subtle adjustments, like leaving a text unanswered for an hour or planning her own activities first, dramatically shifted the energy in her interactions. This shift also reinforced her self-respect, naturally increasing her confidence and presence. Consider Michelle, who used to believe being the cool, always available woman was what attracted men. She would rearrange her schedule whenever a man wanted to see her, reply instantly to messages, share her entire relationship history on the first date, and give men the benefit of the doubt, even when their actions were inconsistent. After applying these principles, she didn't become cold or manipulative. She became selective. She kept her investments slightly below theirs, ensured men worked around her schedule, and maintained parts of herself private until men earned deeper access. She discovered that the subtle sense of challenge created curiosity and desire, making interactions more engaging and balanced, while also strengthening her sense of self-worth. The effect was transformative. Men who previously treated her casually and moved on began pursuing her earnestly. They started making genuine plans, showed up consistently, and fought for her time and attention because she communicated that these things weren't freely available. Jennifer also realized she had been giving men power by revealing everything immediately and responding to potential rather than reality. She was the woman who rationalized why a man didn't call, gave him another chance, and shared all her feelings early, hoping honesty would create intimacy. She often felt emotionally drained trying to coax interest instead of letting attraction develop naturally. When Jennifer embraced these 4 principles, allowing men to pursue her, everything shifted. She stopped over-explaining herself, cultivated mystery through restraint rather than deception, and responded only to consistent action. She no longer questioned whether men liked her. She decided which men were truly worth her time. These patterns are not isolated. They repeat whenever women move from making themselves easy to capture to making themselves worth pursuing. Men don't change. Women simply stop behaviors that kill attraction and start behaviors that foster pursuit. This shift also allows women to feel grounded and self-assured, projecting an irresistible, calm confidence that draws the right men while filtering out those unwilling to invest. So, how do you integrate these principles into your real life, especially when you meet someone you genuinely like and every instinct urges you to act otherwise? First, before engaging romantically, remind yourself that your interest is valuable and shouldn't be handed out freely. Write these principles down where you can see them daily. Use them as a filter for how you show up in dating. Second, practice the pause. When a man reaches out, suggests plans, or shares something, do not respond immediately. Ask yourself, am I about to mirror his effort or stay slightly less invested? Am I creating space or filling it? Am I about to reveal something best kept private? Am I responding to his words or his actions? Third, maintain your life outside of dating as if your attraction depends on it. Because it does. Keep friendships strong, actively pursue your goals, and engage in hobbies that fulfill you. A full life naturally creates space because you genuinely have priorities as important as, or more important than any new romantic interest. Fourth, establish a personal rule about revelation. Only share deeper aspects of yourself, your history and vulnerabilities after someone consistently demonstrates over time that they deserve that access. Mystery is discretion, not deception. This practice strengthens self-respect and emotional resilience while encouraging men to invest meaningfully, and also helps you recognize who is truly compatible. Fifth, observe the correlation between words and actions with every man you date. Do not make excuses for inconsistency, and do not fill in gaps between what he says and what he does with hope or potential. Simply note the pattern and respond accordingly. Remember, these principles are not about controlling men or playing games.